what are the details then of this Nexi Nets deal?
Well, it's an interesting story, and it has been well documented over the past weeks on our very own network and also in the press, and the Italian press. So this is one. So Nets basically is a payments provider, very strong in the Nordics and also the German-speaking regions. And it was private equity owned, and probably one of the last remaining payment assets in Europe that was up for sale. And then there's Nexi on the other hand. Just a few years ago, it was a small Italian payments provider and has been growing almost exclusively through M&A. Like now it's kind of, after this acquisition has been done, it will be probably a 20 billion company. And basically the biggest payments firm in Europe by transaction volume. So payments is a scale game. So there has been M&A for the past years. It's a global theme. And Nexi probably is one of the winners of that trend. Just a few weeks ago, it also bought SpA, which was a local competitor, partly government-owned. The government is still invested. But that was already a blockbuster deal. So Nexi alone just did, deals worth more than 10 billion just this year and has been growing almost exclusively through M&A. It's an interesting story because these companies need scale, right? You have one platform, more transactions over your platform, so you increase the share of basis points you grab from those transactions, and that's the entire story of the payments industry.
Yeah, certainly. It's certainly a sector we're watching them for M&A. Jan-Henrik, I'm sorry, I think I might have said your name wrong earlier on, Jan-Henrik. Thank you so much for giving us your thoughts on Nexi. Let's get on to the Spanish banking sector. BBVA, very much in focus. What do we know about what BBVA wants to do with the money it's getting here? Because that seems to be something that has caused some excitement in the Spanish banking sector.
Indeed, and I think that's a great question. I think it could be a precursor for more M&A, no doubt. I mean, first of all, PNC used the cash proceeds from its BlackRock stake disposal to do this deal. Banking consolidation is also in full swing in the U.S. They need to increase scale. COVID is putting a lot of pressure on banks, and also in the U.S. you are back in negative or at least zero rate territory. For BBVA, it could do two things, and I don't want to speculate too much, but obviously domestic consolidation in Spain is a big theme, right? So if you think about how they could, use this money, they could do something locally. We know that Sabadell, for instance, is exploring strategic options. There has been, chatter around BBVA and Santander. This is just, purely me guessing, but, you can create synergies with these deals, and there's pressure on European banks. And I also think that it will put more pressure on other European banks. After this deal has been done, other banks have big, other European banks have big U.S. operations which are underperforming. And, you think about those lines.